What's up, buds? Today we are reviewing Greta Gerwig's Little Women. Greta Gerwig's Little Women stars Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan, Florence Pugh, which, by the way, I did not know how to say, but if you look it up on Google, she herself posted a video on how to say her name.
You say it like that, Florence Pugh. It's like Hugh, but with a P. No, it's not Pugh, and no, it's not Pooh. I know it's tempting.
Extremely helpful. Little Women is about a family of girls in the 1860s and their journey from being girls to young women. But you already knew that because this book's a classic and this movie's been remade like a handful of times. Before we get into it, there are 3 things that I want to disclose as my own personal biases. 1, I grew up in a house full of women. The second is that I've never seen Little Women or read the book. I basically knew nothing about it going into it, except for I like the actors involved, and I love Greta Gerwig, which is my 3rd thing that I would like to disclose. I went into this movie fully expecting to love it because I love her. Before we get into the Little Women, let's talk about the little man, Timothée Chalamet. What a cutie that boy is. It's like he's tailor-made for girls to have crushes on. It's adorable. And he's very pretty. I said this to my wife on the way home, and she didn't really agree. She goes, he makes a good boy Laurie, but he's not man enough to be man Laurie. Can't please them all, I guess. So I loved this movie. I loved so much about it. First of all, I want to talk about how lived in the script is and also the setting. What is great about this movie is that everyone kind of talks over each other, but in a really great way. When they're talking, it's the way a family talks. When you're in a big family or any close-knit group of people, you know, it feels like 3 conversations are happening at the same time, and the women are also being present in their own space. This movie makes amazing use of space. When they're in that house and they come down the stairs, you feel like they've come down those stairs 100 times before. When they're sitting at the kitchen table, it feels like, no, I have a favorite spot at this table and Mom always sits there and Joe sits there. That they feel that when they're walking in the countryside, you can imagine the pathways that they're walking on are ones they made because they use the space, and the movie kind of jumps between 2 timelines, which I just accepted for my wife because she grew up on Little Women. At first, her response was that was a little bit distracting for her, but she said that she got used to it pretty quickly. For me, I just accepted it. And one of the things I liked about it is that when they went back and forth in these spaces, it felt like home. You feel at ease in that space. And so you're going to stand a certain way, you're going to walk through it in a certain way. And that was great. And when you have a familiarity with the people that you are with, you're going to talk in a certain way and you're going to talk over them in a certain way because you kind of already know what they're going to say. At least you kind of get the gist of it. And so you don't even really wait for them to finish their sentences. And they do that, and it's so organic and so interesting. I've never really been a fan of these period movies. Anything from the 1800s, I find when they get translated to film, they don't work for me because I'm watching a movie to connect with humanity, and it was a time in a lot of movies where everyone's very proper. Their clothes, like there's this one scene where they go to the beach and it's beautiful, but I'm a little distracted in my mind because I'm like, they must be so hot. So it's like this really nice scene and it looks incredible, which I'll talk about later, but it is distracting to me because I'm like, you're at the beach. Like, so it's hard for me to get into a period movie. Other directors have, kind of livened up movies set in a time period with like modern music cues or kind of modern language, and that can work. What Greta did here, though, is she put a fresh energy into it, but it doesn't feel modern. It feels like it's of the time, but everyone feels human and like they're still kind of stiff, and it was a more proper time than now. Here, I'll give you an example. There is a there's a moment in the movie when they're having a dance, and I think all of these period movies have a dance that they go to because they had nothing else to do. And so the dance is happening outside, and you've seen this in the trailer, so I'm not ruining anything. The dance is happening inside, and then Joe and the boy wonder Timothée are outside, and they have a little dance together, and like they are really dancing, and even the people on the inside are really dancing because this is their Friday night. This is their entertainment for the week, and so this isn't proper do all the motions. It is proper and but it's fun, and it's all they know, and it felt like they were really dancing. And I don't know if I've seen that in a period movie, except for maybe in Titanic when like Rose goes below deck and they have like that, they're with the fiddlers and the common people, and they're having that was the last time I think I saw real people in an old-timey movie really can dance, The main plot of this movie involves kind of love triangle, and again, I haven't read Little Women, so I didn't know any of this going into it. That part of the plot and those tropes, I understand that they're the hook of the book. They're not made for me, and that's fine, because the movie is about so much more than that. So follow me on this. This is a movie that understands boredom. I think we grow complacent and are so used to having constant entertainment that we don't understand that one of the functions of creativity is out of a necessity to break from the boredom. What's great about this movie and this story is that all four of the girls have a talent and an outlet for creativity, but all of it is kind of to entertain themselves and entertain each other. And it's really delightful to watch because it's real. When they have a play together and when she reads to them or, they're painting, there's an excitement to do that, that we would sit down and watch HBO. This is a movie that understands that boredom and creativity have a relationship, whether it's the painting or the piano playing or Joe's writing. And Joe is frustrated. She's not just frustrated with her writing, she's frustrated with being a creative person. Creative people have frustrations, and they are present in all of these women. And that is very satisfying. Each of these actresses are so vibrant and charming in the roles. It is a joy to watch them laugh and play, experience heartbreak and then experience joy. It's no wonder to me that Laurie has a crush on the sisters, because so would I. I do have a crush on the sisters. Any certain type of boy that's grown up and known a family of girls, I think has had that experience of, oh man, they're amazing. I know I had a family that lived close to me when I was younger, and I think I had a crush on 4 out of the 5 of them. I mean, I married a girl from a family of girls. So there's something magical about a family of girls. Man, she pulls that off. Those moments with Laurie, I didn't know this going into it, but where, she's saying I won't be your second choice, and I'm like, girl, you're not his second choice. He loves all of you. He just wants to be around you, and that is infectious. I just wanted to be around them. Another thing that was great about this movie is that while all this detail character work is happening, it's also shot incredibly well. It is staged like a beautiful painting, but not in a really distracting way. They found a way to make beautiful, also graceful, and not showy. There's nothing gaudy about this movie, but it's also extremely pleasing to look at. It's another layer of grace in a movie that already has so much charm, to be able to effortlessly just allow things to unfold. It's great. There are a few things that didn't work for me. One of them is Laura Dern's character. I really like Laura Dern. I mean, who doesn't? In this movie, she was so sweet, and there's a moment she's having a conversation with Joe, I think, and she refers to this anger that's inside of her. And I would have loved to see that, because the girls felt so alive and so magnetic that the mom kind of felt like an afterthought. And then there's this other moment halfway through the movie where the father comes home, and then it's Bob Odenkirk, And I don't know if he was in the trailer, but when he walks in the door, I'm like, Bob Odenkirk, what? And you don't see him connect with the girls. Again, these are kind of, that's not the meat of the story. So it kind of, not everything's going to work. There is this little bit that's missing where it's like, okay, these girls are electric. Where did that electricity come from? And they don't really ever explain that. It's just that these are 4 magical girls. I've talked a lot about all the things I loved about this movie, and for me it really comes down to how exciting it is to watch someone like Greta Gerwig go from being an actress that she'd be in a movie, like I think she's in I Saw the Devil for like 10 minutes or something, but there's something about her that gets under your skin in a really good way. And it is exciting to watch someone transfer their spirit into their writing and into film. And with Lady Bird and now this, she's done it without it having to be overly stylized. When you watch something like a Tarantino movie, it's so unapologetically Tarantino, and that's great. But by the time you get to his 8th movie, you've seen all the tricks. So you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting to, but I'm not really that surprised. Whereas when you allow your magic to transcend style and just be part of the energy that's fueling the movie. Now, I don't know if she'll be able to keep it up but 2 movies now, she's been able to capture the thing that people like about her as a person. She'd be able to put that into a movie. It's cool and it's fun to watch. One of the things that this movie is also about is the struggle of being a woman. And it handles that subject without being preachy. It is good for men to watch movies where women are telling their stories, because everyone is in their own head and everyone has their own blinders. And it's easy to think, oh, people's lives are kind of like mine. But when you hear and get to watch the struggles of people that aren't you, one of the great things about cinema and story is that allows us to step outside of our own perspective and say, I might not have thought of it that way before. So as a male viewer, one of the things that was kind of an eye-opener, and in period movies, they're always looking for a husband. They do a great job at wrestling with that idea of, I know that I need a husband for financial stability, but I also want to do shit with my life. And how does that all fit in? That allows me to be empathetic, to be like, I understand that frustration, and now I can appreciate an aspect of some of the struggles that women have gone through that are human struggles, and it opens up my viewpoint of the world a little bit more. I highly recommend this movie. It kind of hits all the bases. It's cinematic and beautiful to look at. It's interesting with fully developed characters. It has something to say without being preachy. It's a crowd pleaser, but it also doesn't dumb it down. It hits all the bases. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like. And if you'd like to see more, I would love if you would subscribe to our channel. I just want to keep talking about movies, so every like and subscribe helps. Thanks. See you next time.